अश्वतरशतश्माद श्रील भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतरशतश्माद श्रील भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतरशतश्माद श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतरशतश्माद श्रील भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतरशतश्माद श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोकिशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिद आनंद श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपनु गौरीय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ चार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा दामोदर जू की जय। श्री दामोदर व्रत की जय। उर्ज व्रत की जय। उर्जेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानु नंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय। तदीय शुभ तिरुभाव तिथि की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय। Hey, what happened to the GBP logo? Okay. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanathi Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Parang Varanyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasa Namami Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Shri Keshava Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Vamaniti Namane Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Acharya Singharupine Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava iti namine Atimartya charitraya svashritanang chapaline Jiva dukhe sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine Shivarshabhanavi Devi Daitai Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuyo Jala Premadhyay Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dīnatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dhvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambhode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuka Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestang Nirdeshta Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannatayate Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatang Surato Pangor Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarva Swapadam Bhujo Radha Madana Mohanam Devyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Preshtalabhi Sevamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vangsivata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestuna Angashama Limachata Birabito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagudarochisham Vidadatam Pattam Bharasya Shriya Vrindaranya Vilasinam Ridilasar Dāmodarāṣṭakam Radha Skanda Niveshito Jvala Bhujam Dhyaye Damodaram Vrindayai Tulsidevai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Davanala sama sangsara dahane dagda jiva kula yudhara karane karuna varida kṛpā-varida nibandhi guna sindhu gurur charana kamala Nritya Gita Vadya Shri Hari Kirtane Rahena Magana Mahamata Mane Romancha Kampashruhaya Gora Preme Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Sadarata Jini Vigraha Sevane Shringarati Armandira Marjane Karena Niyukta Anugata Jane Vandishe Gurur Charana Kamala Charva Chushaleya Peyara Samay Prasadana Krishnarati Swaduhoy bhakta-vatsala nijatriptaroy vandishe gurur charana kamala Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam namarupa gune Ananta madhurya lila ashvadane lupta chitta jini hana pratikshane vandishe guru charana kamala vraja juvadanda rati samvardhane yukti kare saki gane vrindavane ati daksha tahe priyatama gane vandishe guru charana kamala sarva shastre gaye Shri Hari Sarupa bhakta gana bhave she anurupa kintu jine Prabhu priyatama rupa vandishe guru charana kamala jahara prasade Krishna kripa pai jara prasade anyagati nai trisandhya kirtira stava dhane bhai vandishe gurur charana kamala guru Deva ashtagayati jatna kori brahma muhurte pore ucha kori vrindavana nath Shakshat Shri Hari Seva Pai Vastu Siddhi Kale Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Vandishe Guru Charana Kamala Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva Jai Guru Deva Jaya Gurudeva Krishna hoite chatur mukha Hoy Krishna sevo mukha Brahma hoite naradera amati Narada hoite vyasa मध्वा कोहि व्यास दास पूर्ण प्रज्ञा परमनभ गति नृहरि माधव वंशे अक्षोभ्य परमहंसे शिष्य बोली अंगीकार करे अक्षोभ्यर शिष्य जय तीर्थना में परिचय तार दासे ज्ञान सिंधु तोरे ताहाँ होते दया निधि तार दास विद्या निधि राजेंद्र होइलो ताहाँ होते ताहार के कर जय धर्म नाम परिचय परंपरा जान भालो माते जय जय धर्म दासे ख्याति श्री पुरुषोत्तम जति ता होते ब्रह्मण्य तीर्थ सूरी व्यास तीर्थ तार दास लक्ष्मी पति व्यास दास ताहा होते मारवेंद्र पुरी वर शिष्य वर श्री ईश्वर नित्यानंद श्री आदित्य विभो ईश्वरपुरी के धन्य करिलेन श्री चैतन्य जगर गुरु गौर महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण हे अन्य रूपानुग जनेर जीवना विश्वाम्बर प्रियंकर श्री स्वरूप दामोदर श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन रूप प्रिय महाजन जीव रघुनाथन तार प्रिय कवि कृष्ण दास प्रिय वर नरोत्तम सेवा पर जार पर विश्वनाथ याशा विश्वनाथ भक्त सात बलदेव जगन्नाथ तार प्रिय श्री भक्ति विनोद महाभागवत वर श्री गौर किशोर वर हरि भजन ते जार मोरा शिवा शबना विवर सदा सेवा पर तहार दयित दास नाम प्रभु पर अंतरंग श्री स्वरूप रूपानुग श्री केशव भक्ति प्रज्ञान गौड़िया वेदांत वेता माया भरत महंत गौरवाणी प्रचाराचार्धाम प्रचारिल गौरवाणी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी पुराइल प्रभुपादेर काम केशव प्रिय महाजन वामन नारायण गौरवाणी तादे प्राण धान ए सब हरिजन गौरांगेर निज जान तादेर उच्चिष्टे मोरा काम गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा 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 गुरु परंपरा वृंदावन वासी जत वैष्णवेर गण तमे वंदना करी सबार चरण नीलाचल वासी जत महाप्रभुर गण भूमिते पड़िया बंदो सभार चरण नवद्वीप kṛpā-vāsī jato Mahaprabhur bhakta sabhara charana bandam hoyaya anurakta Mahaprabhur bhakta jato gora deshe sthiti sabhara charana bandam koriya pranati je deshe pashe gaurangera gana urdhva bahu kori bandam sabhara charana hoyachena hoibena Prabhur jata dasa sabhara charana bandam dante kori khasa brahmanda tarite shakti tare jane evera purane guna kaje bashune Mahaprabhur gana sab patita pavana tailo bemoi papiloino sharana vandana korite moi kato shakti dhari tamo buddhi doshe moi tamba matra kori tathapi mukher bhagya manera ulasa doshak shami madhame korone jatasa sarva vansha siddhi hoy rama banda chute jagate dulabha hoy prem dhana lute manera vasana purna achirate hoy deva kinandana dasa elo bekoya jai Viṣṇu Thakur Viṣṇu Thakur Viṣṇu Thakur jaya Viṣṇu Thakur jaya Viṣṇu Thakur Viṣṇu Thakur Viṣṇu Thakur jaya Viṣṇu Thakur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive daya kori Saparshara Shri Adhama Sahayavatari Atanta Dulabha Prema Kori Bare Dana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana Danyayatma Nivedana Goptrite Varana Avasharakṣive Krishna Vishvasapalana Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyera Shrikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Vajanangikara Sharanga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahara Tahara Prarthana Shune Śrī Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Tante Trina Kori Bhakati Viṣṇura Pade Doho Pada Dhari Kandiya Kandiya Bole Ami Toya Dhama Shikhaya Sharanagati Karo He Uttama Jai Swapasharajaya Gaurahari Swapasharajaya Gaurahari Jaya Swapasharajaya Gaurahari Swapasharajaya Gaurahari Jaya Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan. Oh, just the other day, Manjari told me that Gurudev had her sing, my Gurudev had her sing this Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro, the two first lines low and then the two second lines high. And so I'm going to try doing that now. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bhonidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya 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 Karo Nematsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kṛpā-varo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahan Tarako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako Lokanamita Karina Tribhuvane Mano Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bachana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Shri Gauranga Gunarnuvarnana Vidho Shraddha Samriddhanvito Papa Tapa Nikrintano Tanu sorry, it's a habit. Papo Tapa Nikrintano Tanu Bhritam Govinda Ganamritai Ayanandam Buddhi Vardhanaika Nipuno Kaivala Nistarako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Taktva Turnama Shesha Mandalapati Shenim Sadatu Chavat Abhutva Dina Ganesha Karunaya Gopena Kanta Shrito Gopi Pavar Samritabdi Lahari Kalola Magno Mohur Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sarasagana Kirne Mayura Kule Nana Ratna Nibadha Mola Vitapa Shiyukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Maharnisham Prabhajato Jivarta Doyo Moda Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva kananativi kalavasani krito nidrahara viharakadi vijato chatantadino chayo Radha Krishna Guna Smritir Madhurima Nandena Sammohito Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Radha Kunda Tate Kalinda Tanaya Tire Chavangshi Vate Prenmon Madhava Shada Shesha Dashaya Krasto Pramato Sada Gayanto Chakadaharir Gunavaram Bhava Vibhuto Muda Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale Kalendi Sakar Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale Kalendi Vane Kuta Goshanta Vita Sarvito Vrajapure Kedar Mahavivalo O Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Jai Rupa Sanatan Rupa Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Jai Rupa Sanatan Rupa Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Vrindavane Viharato Riha Kele Kunje Mata Dvipa Pravara Kautuka Vibramena Sandarshaya Sayuvayor Vadana Ravinda Tandam Videhi Mai Devi Kripam Prasīda Adevi Kakubhara Kargadaya Davacha Yache Nepatya Bhuvidanda Varur Vatarti Asya Prasadam Abhudasya Jana Sakritva Gandharvike Nijakane Kananam Videhi Shame Rama Ramana Sundarata Varishta Sundarya Mohita Samasta Jagajanasya Shama Savama Bhuja Padatanam Kadaha Tamindira Virala Rupa Bharang Bhajami Tam Prachadena Mudira Chavina Pidaya Manjira Mukta Charanam Chavidaya Devi Kunje Vrajendra Tanayena Virajamane Naktam Kada Pramuditam Abhisa Abhisarayeshe Okunje Prasuna Kula Kalpita Kelitalpe Sangveshtayor Madhura Narma Vilasa Bhajo Lokatraya Bharanayoshcharana Bhujani Sambhahayishyati Kadayuvayor Janoyam Atvat Kundarodha rasi vilasa parishramena svedam buchum vivadanam puruha shriyovam Vrindavaneshwari kadattarumola bhajo Samvijayami chamare chaya chamarena Linam nikunja kuhare bhavate mukunde Chitraiva suchitavati ruchirakṣinaham Bhugnam bhruvam narachayeti mrusham tam Agre vrajendra tanayasya kadanuneshe Avagyuta keli kutuke vrajaraja sunam Ajitva madam adhikadarpa vikasi jalpam Pula viral viranalpamudiryamanam Stotram kadanubhavate mavalokayeshe Yakopi shushtu vrishabhanukumarikaya Samprartanashtakamidam patate prapanam Sa preyasa sahasameta drita pramoda Tatra prasara lahare murari karoti Devim gunai sulali Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Śrī Radhe Jaya Vṛṣabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Vṛṣabhanunandini Radhe Radhe. Wow. Anyways. Oh God. Okay. Radha Mukunda Parasambhava Garma Bindu Nirmanchanopakarani Krita Deha Laksham Utunga Sarida Vishesha Vashat Pragalvam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Araka Sudha Kirana Mandala Kanti Dandi Bhaktrashiyam Chakita Charu Chamuru Netram Radha Prasadhana Vidana Kala Prasiddham Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami La Sola Sarbujag La Sola Sarbujaga Shatru Patatra Chitra Patam Shuka Bharana Kanchuli Kanchitangim Gorochana Ruchi Vigarana Gorimanam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Durte Vrajendra Tanaye Tanushushuvamyam Madakshina Bhavakalankini Lagavaya Radhe Giram Shinuhitam iti Shikshayantim Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Aradham Abhivrajapate Kritamatmajena Kutamanaagapi Vilokya Vilohitakshim Vagbhangi Vishtamachirena Vilajayantim Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Avatsalya Vrindavasatim Pashupalaragya Sakyanushikshanā Kala Sugurum Sakina Radha Balavaraja Jivita Nirvishesham Devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. Yam kamapi vrajakule vrishabhanujaya apreksha swapaksha padavim anurudhyamanam. Sadastarishta ghatanena kritartayante devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. Radha vrajendra sutta sangamarangaccharyam avaryam vinishchitavate makilotsavebhya. Tango kula priya sakhi nikuramba mukhyam devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. Ananta namo nilalita guna lalitani apadyani yapatati nirmala drishtirashto. Pritya vikarshati janang nija vrindamade tam kirtira patikulo jala kalpavali. Devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. Adevim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. Jaya Lalita Devi, Jaya Lalita Devi, Lalita Devi, Jaya Lalita Devi, Jaya Lalita Devi, Jaya Lalita Devi, Lalita Devi, Jaya Lalita Devi. Obhraturanta kasya patane vipati harini prekshayati papinopi papasendu tarini niramaduri birapya shesha cheta bandini mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Harivari dharaya bimandito rukandava pundarika mandalo dadanda jalitandava snana kama pamarogra papa samparandini mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Shikara bimrishya jantu durvipaka mardini nandanandanantaranga bhakti puravardini tirasangama vilashi mangalanubandini mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Dvipachakravala jushta sapta sindhu bhedini Shri Mukunda nirmitoru devya keli vedini Kanti kandili virendra nila vrindanendini Mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Mathurena mandalena charuna bimandita premanada vaishnavavda vardhanaya pandita urmidor vilasa parmanabha padavandini mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Ramyatira rampamana gokadamba bhushita devya ganta bhakadamba pushparaji roshita nanda sona bhakta sanga sangama abhinandini mam punatu sarvadara vindabandhu nandini. Pula paksha malikaksha hamsa laksha kujita Bhakti-veda Deva Siddha Kinarali Pujita Tira Gandhavaha Gandha Janma Bandharandini Mam Punatu Sarvadara Vinda Bandhunandini Chirvilasa Paripura Burbhuvasa Apini Kirtitapi Dormudoru Papa Marmatapini Ballavendra Nandanangaraga Bhanga Gandhini Mam Punatu Sarvadara Vinda Bandhunandini Tushta buddhirashtakena nirmalormi cheshtitam Tvamanena bhanuputri sarvadeva veshtitam Yastaviti vardayasa sarva papa mochane Bhakti puramasya devi pundarika lochane Mam punatu sarvadara vinda bandhunandini Mam punatu sarvadara vinda bandhunandini Jaya Mune Jaya Jaya Jamune Jaya Jamune Jaya Jaya Mune Jaya Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi Nijapati Bhujadanda Chatra Bhavam Prapadya Pratihata Madadrishta Danda Devendra Garva Atula Pratula Shaila Shreni Bhupam Priyame Nijanikatani Vasam Tehi Govardhanatam Pramadamadana Lila Kandare Kandare Te Rachayati Navayuno Dandamasmin Amandam Iti Kila Kalanartam Lagna Kasta Tvayorme Nijanikatani Vasam Tehi Govardhanatam Anupamamani Vedi Ratna Singhasa Norvi Ruhajara Darasano Droni Sangeshu Ranga Sahabala Saki Bisa Kelayansa Priyame Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Rasanidhi Navayuno Shakshinim Dana Keler Duti Parimala Vidham Shama Vedim Prakasha Rasika Varakulana Modama Swalayame Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Haridaitama Purvam Radhika Kundamatma Priya Sakamiha Kante Narmana Linga Gupta Navayuva Yuga Kelas Tatra Pashan Rahome Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Stala Jala Tala Shashpar Bhuru Hachaya Yacha Pratipadamanukalam Hanta Sambardayanga Trijagati Nijagotram Sarthakyam Khyapayane Nijanikatani Vasam Dehi Govardhanatam Surapati Krita Dirga Adrohato Kushtaraksham Tavanavagriharupa Syantare Kurvataiva Agabakari Punochar Dattamana Drutang Mene Janikatani Vasam Tehi Govardhanatam Kirindripaharidasa Sheni Varyeti Nama Mritamuditam Shirat Mritamidam Śrī Radhika Vaktra Chandrat Prajanavati Lakatve Klipta Vedai Sputame Nijanikatani Vasam Tehi Govardhanatam Nijajana Yuta Radha Krishna Maitri Rasakta Rajanara Pashupakshi Vrata Sokaikadatta Aganita Karunata Mamuri Krita Tanta Mejanika Tanivasam Tehiko Vanatam Nirupari Karunena Shri Sachinandanena Tvaikapati Shatotpi Tvat Priyenarpitosmi Iti khalu mama yogya yogyatam tam agrinan nijanikatani vasam tehi govardhanatam rasadada shakamasya shila govardhanasya shittidhara kula bharto ya prayatna dadite sasa parisukaresme vasamasada shaksha jubada yugala seva ratnamapnoti turna janikatani vasam dehi govardhanatam nijanikatani vasam dehi govardhanatam jaya giriraja jaya govardhana giriraja jaya govardhana jaya govardhana jaya vrindavana govardhana jaya vrindavana jaya radha kunda jaya shama kunda radha kunda jaya shama kunda Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Mana Manasa Madhukara Marpaya Nijapada Pankajama Karande Oh Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Yadapi samadhishu vidhirapi pashyati natavana kagramarichim idami chami nishamya tavachuta tarapi kṛpā-dṛṣṭi vichim Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Yadapi Madhava Natvai Mamatila Matri Parameshwarata Tarapitavadika Adurghata Ghatana Vidhatri Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Yadya sanatana kalitarvutara sabharam Nevasato nityami amrita nendini vindana madhurima saram Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaite Damodara Rati Bharatanave Hari Nishkuta Vrin Tavipineshe Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhavadaite Vrishabhanudadhi Navashashile Saki guna Ramita Vishake Karuna Sucharu-vaktra-mandala Sukarna-ratna-kundalam Sucharchitanga-chandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Sudirgha-netra-pankajam Shikishikandamurtajam Ananga-koti-mohanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Sunasika-gramuktikam Swachandadanta-panktikam Navam-budanga-chikanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Karena-venuranjitam Gati-karendra-ganjitam Tukula-pita-shobhanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Tribanga-deha-sundaram Nakhadyuti-sudakaram Amulya-ratna-bhushanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Sugandhayanga-saurabhamuro-viraji Kosubam spruvacchi-vatsalanchana Namami Nanda-nandanam Vrindavana-sunagaram Vilasano-gavasasam Surendra-garbhamochanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Prajangana-sunayakam Sadasukha-pradayakam Jaganmana-pralobhanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Paterya-shadayanvita Tarer-bhavabdhim dustaram Labetarangriyukmakam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Namami Nanda-nandanam Munindra-vrindavandite Trilokashokaharini Prasanna-bhaktra-pankaje Nikunja-bhuvilasini Vrajendra-bhanu-nandini Vrajendra-sunu-sangate Kada-karishasi hamam kṛpā-kṛtaksha-bhajanam Ashoka-vriksha-vallari Vitana-mandapastite Prabhala-vala-pallava Prabharunangri-komale Parabhaya-spurat-kare Prabhuta-sampadalaye Kada-karishasi hamam kṛpā-kṛtaksha-bhajanam Ananga-ranga-mangala prasanga-bhangura-bhruvam Savibhramam shasambhramam Triganta-panapatanai Nirantaram vashīkrita-pratiti-nandanandane Kada-karishasi hamam kṛpā-kṛtaksha-bhajanam Tadet-suvarna-champaka pradipta-gaura-vigrahe Mukha-prabha-parastakoti Sharadendu-mandale Vichitra-chitra-sanchara-chakora Shavalochane Kada-karishasi hamam kṛpā-kṛtaksha-bhajanam Madonna-tatiyovane Pramora-mana-mandite Priyanuragaranjite Kala-vilasa-pandite Ananya-dhanya Kunjaraja-kama-keliko-vide Kada-karishasi Shasi Hamam Kripa Katakṣa Bhajanam Asheshahava Bhavadhira Hira Hara Bhushite Prabhutta Shanta Kumbha Kumbha Kumbhi Kumbha Sustani Prashasta Manda Hasachurna Purna Sokya Sakare Kada Karishasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Mrinala Valla Vallari Taranga Ranga Dolate Latagra Lasya Lola Nila Lochana Valokane Lala Lulan Milan Manogya Mugda Mohana Shrite Kada Karishasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajana Suvarna Malikanchita Trireka Kambu Kanthage Trisutra Mangali Guna Triratna Dipti Dipti Salola Nila Kuntala Prasuna Gucha Gumfite Kada Karishasi Hama Kripa Kataksha Bhajana Nitamba Bimbalamba Mana Pushpa Mekhala Gune Prashasta Ratna Kinkini Kalapa Madhya Manjule Karindra Shunda Dandika Varoha Sova Goruke Kada Karishasi Hama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Aneka Mantra Nara Manju Nupurara Vaskalat Samaja Raja Hangsa Vamshane Kvanati Gaurave Vilola Hema Valari Vidam Vicharu Chankrame Kada Karishasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Ananta Koti Viṣṇu Loka Namra Parma Jarchite Himatri Japulo Maja Virincha Javara Prade Apara Siddhi Riddhi Digda Satpadanguli Nakhe Kada Karisha Sihamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Maheshwari Kriyeshwari Sareshwari Sureshwari Trivera Bharatishwari Pramana Shashaneshwari Rameshwari Kshameshwari Pramora Kananeshwari Vrajeshwari Vrajadipe Shiradike Namostute Iti Mamarputam Stavam Nishamya Bhanu Nandini Karotu Santatam Janam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Pavita Daiva Sanchita Trirupa Karma Nashanam Kavita Davrajendra Suna Mandala Praveshanam Kada Karisha Sihama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Namameshwaram Sachirananda Rupa La Satkunda La Gokule Prajamana Yashoda Biyolukat Ladhava Manam Paramrishtamadam Tatodruta Koga Namameshwaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Praja Arudanta Muhurnitra Yugmam Rijanta Karam Bhoja Yugmena Satanka Netra Muhusvasa Kampa Trirekhanka Kantha Stita Graivadamo Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamanam Aitpidrika Swalilavirananda Kunde Swagosham Nimanjantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitargesho bhakter jitatvam Puna prematastam Shatabrittivanam Namameshwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamanam Varam Deva Moksham Namokshavadimva Nachanyam Vrineham Varesharapiha Idang Deva Purnata Gopalabalam Sada me manasya virastam kiman Namameshwaram Sachidanandarupam Alasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamanam Idam te mukham bojam avyakta nila vritam kuntalashnita raktashta gopya mohoshumbitam bimba raktataran me manasya virastam alam lakshala namameshwaram sachidanandarupam lasat kundalam gokule bhajamanam nama Deva Dāmodarānanta viṣṇo prasīda prabho duḥkha-jālābdhi-magnam kṛpā-dṛṣṭi-vṛṣṭyāti-dīnaṁ batānu gṛhāṇeśa ajñam akṣi-dṛśyaḥ namameshwaram sachidanandarupam lasat kundalam gokule bhajamanam kubedatmajo bhata murtaivayadvat tvayamachita bhakti bhaja kritocha tatha prema bhaktin sakame prayacha namo Śrī Dāmodara namameshwaram sachidanandarupam lasat kundalam gokule bhajamanam namaste studamne spuratipti dhamne tvadiyodarayata vishwasadhamne namo radhikaya tadiya priyaya radhikāya tvadiya priyaya namo radhikāya tvadiya priyaya namo Ananta lilaya devaya namo Ananta lilaya devaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Ki Jai Vrat Palankari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Śrīla Sanatan Goswami Par ki jai, Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrī Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishna Vrinda ki jai, Śrī Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Sorry, in today's kirtan session I was extra distracted because I got a message. Anyways, I got a message saying that people are now starting to apply on the FRO website and getting 1-year extensions for 14,400 rupees. And that just happened in the middle while I was singing, and then my mind got very much distracted. Anyways, so let's continue from reading the 6th verse. That makes a really big difference to my plans, so, which it's a good thing, but, yeah. Okay. Namo Deva Dāmodarānanta viṣṇo prasīda prabho duḥkha-jālābdhi-magnam kṛpā-dṛṣṭi-vṛṣṭyāti-dīnaṁ batānu gṛhāṇeśa ajñam akṣi-dṛśyaḥ. Namo, respectful obeisance. Deva, he who has a divine form. Damodara, O bhakta-vatsala, O you who are affectionate to your devotees, Śrī Dāmodara. Ananta, O Lord of inconceivable magnificent potency. Viṣṇu, O all-pervasive Lord. Prasīda, be pleased. Prabhu, O my Master. Duḥkha, sufferings. Jala, network. Abdi, in an ocean. Magnam, drowning. Kṛpā-dṛṣṭi, of your compassionate glances. Vṛṣṭya, by the rain. Ati-dīnaṁ, extremely miserable. Bata, alas. Anugrihana, treat me with kindness or enliven me by delivering me. Isha, O supremely independent controller. Mam, me. Ajñam, ignorant. Edhy, please become. Akṣi, my eyes. Dṛśyaḥ, visible. I need to stop looking at my phone. Okay. O Deva, O you who have a divine form. I offer my respectful obeisances to you, O you who are bhakta-vatsala, affectionate to your devotees. Śrī Dāmodara, O Ananta, Lord of inconceivably magnificent potencies, O all-pervasive Viṣṇu, O Prabhu, my master, be pleased with me. I am drowning in an ocean of incessant worldly miseries. Alas, I am extremely miserable, and I do not know what to do. O Isha, supremely independent controller, please deliver me by the nectarean shower of your merciful glance, and enliven me by becoming directly visible to my eyes. Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā bhavanuvad by Śrīla Sanatana Goswami Pad. The bhavanuvad is by my Gurudev, Tika is by Śrīla Sanatana Goswami Pad. By the power of his prayers, an uncommon type of prema instantly arose within Śrī Satyavrat Muni's heart, and he now expresses his intense longing to see Śrī Bhagavan directly. Within his mind, he concluded that the best means to attain direct darshan of Śrī Bhagavan is indeed Śrī Nam Sankirtan, and therefore, in this verse beginning with Namo Deva, he submits himself to his Lord through fervent prayers in the form of Śrī Nam Sankirtan. One should understand that even though the sage intended to use the word tubhyam, unto you, after the word nama, to complete the grammatical construction, he left it out, either because of apprehension, reverence, or because he simply lost control of himself due to the prema arising within his heart. Consequently, he was unable to address Śrī Bhagavan so directly. Śrī Satyavrat Muni addresses his Lord, O Prabhu, my master, O Ishvar, supreme controller. He next says, prasīda, be pleased with me. In other words, he explains what gracious favor he seeks from his Lord, if his Lord is pleased with him, prasīda. The reason he seeks the favor of his Lord is described in the words duḥkha-jālābdhi-magnam. Śrī Satyavrat Muni says, I am drowning, magnam, in an unbroken series, jala, of miseries, dukkha. The miseries, or dukkha, described here may be considered either the miseries born of material existence in the form of repeated birth and death, or else the suffering he feels by not being able to see his Lord. Such miseries are boundless and are therefore compared to an ocean, abdhi. He says, ati-dīnaṁ, tormented by such incessant misery, I am suffering greatly. Therefore, be pleased with me. Śrīla Sanatana Goswami now illuminates further meanings of ati-dīnaṁ. Śrī Satyavrat Muni also indicates, because I am deprived of the support of saintly association, I cannot perform sadhan bhajan. I therefore remain extremely wretched and destitute. Or, although I am somehow still alive, I am nearly dead because of my intense hankering to see you. I have no idea how to alleviate such incessant suffering. Therefore, he continues, kṛpā-dṛṣṭi, please cast upon me your uninterrupted... reread that. Therefore, he continues, kṛpā-dṛṣṭi, please cast upon me your uninterrupted compassionate glance, which is like a downpour, vrishta, of nectar. In this way, anugrihana, revive me by completely delivering me from this ocean of misery. With the words edhy, akṣi-dṛśyaḥ, the sage explains exactly what gracious... Sorry guys, I need to calm down. My mind is a little bit going nuts right now. With the words edhy, akṣi-dṛśyaḥ, the sage explains exactly what gracious favor he seeks from his master. He prays, please become directly visible to my eyes. Since there is nothing more rarely achieved than direct darshan of Shri Krishna, it would not have been appropriate for Śrī Satyavrat Muni to request it at the very beginning of his prayers. This is the reason for the sequence of his prayers. There's a footnote here by my Param Gurudev. Oh, it's editor's footnote adapted from the Bengali edition. In the first and second verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni offers pranam to Śrī Dāmodara, who is controlled by the prema of his devotees. In the third verse, he offers repeated vandana, or prayers, unto him. In the fourth and fifth verses, he condemns all the goals of life, beginning with moksha, and prays for the Bal Gopal form of Sri Krishna to forever manifest within his heart. Only now, in the sixth verse, is he praying for direct darshan of Bhagavan. The sequence of prayers in this verse is as follows. Prasīda, kindly be pleased with me, anugrihana, by the shower of your compassionate glance upon me. Completely deliver me. Oops. What did I do? Okay. Sorry guys, I lost my spot. Let me just, okay, and so in the first verse he offered pranam, and the second, and the, first and second verses he offers pranam. In the third verse he offers vandana, or prayers. In the fourth and fifth verses he condemns all the goals of life beginning with moksha, and prays for the Bal Gopal form of Sri Krishna to forever manifest in his heart. Only now in the sixth verse is he praying for direct darshan of Bhagavan. The sequence of his prayers in this verse is as follows. Prasīda, kindly be pleased with me. Anugrihana, by the shower of your compassionate glance upon me, completely deliver me from the ocean of sufferings. And akṣi-dṛśyaḥ edhy, please become visible to my eyes. Regarding direct darshan, with sound logic, Sri Bhagavan's associates have personally established how direct vision of Bhagavan is more glorious than vision of him within the heart. The excellence of this goal is explained in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita's Uttarkanda 3, 179 to 182. So let's read those verses, 179 to 182. Annotation by Srila Bhakti-Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. In the fourth verse of this ashtak, verses 286 through 296 of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita's Uttarkanda were cited. Therein, Sri Pipalayan Rishi, a resident of Tapoloka, explains to Gopakumar that seeing Sri Bhagavan within the mind is more rewarding than seeing him with one's eyes. In the following verses, however, Sri Bhagavan's personal associates who are residents of Vaikuntha prove that directly seeing Sri Bhagavan is actually superior to seeing him in meditation, for it grants the ultimate success of life. Verses 179 through 182 of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita's Uttarkanda are presented herein. Drigbhyam prabhor darshananta hi sarvata stutat prasāda-valī-labdhir-ikṣyate sarvādikam sandra sukam chajayate sadyantareva shravanari bhakti. Sri Bhagavan's personal associates addressed Gopakumar. Only when one beholds Sri Bhagavan directly with his own eyes does one attain his complete mercy without fail. Kardama Rishi, Dhruva, and others who saw Bhagavan with their own eyes and who won his abundant mercy are examples of this. By this mercy alone, we are also directly realizing that seeing Sri Bhagavan with our eyes is the ultimate success of life. The most profound joy is only experienced when one sees Sri Bhagavan in this way, directly, which can only be accomplished by performing Navada Bhakti, the ninefold system of devotional service beginning with Shravan, hearing, and Kirtan, chanting. Direct darshan of Sri Bhagavan is the ultimate success of life for the following reason. Sarvesham sadhananam tat shakshat karo hi sat phalam. Tadaiva va mulato maya nashyet premapi vardate. The consummate result of all types of sadhan is to meet Sri Bhagavan face to face. Thus meeting him, one's entanglement in Maya will be completely destroyed at the root, and simultaneously, prema will swell within one's heart. In the next verse, the personal associates of Śrī Bhagavan further establish the unrivaled excellence of meeting the Lord face to face by citing an incident from ancient times. Kaya dhavader hridhi pashyatopi prabhum sadakshina kil tad didriksha tatra pramanam hi tatavalokanar anantaram bhava vishesha-labha. Even though devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, the son of Hiranyakashipu, and Kayadu were able to behold the world within their heart, it is a fact that they always hankered to see him, the master of all power, directly with their eyes. The evidence for this is that on the shore of the ocean, one day, by seeing Śrī Bhagavan face to face, Śrī Prahlad Maharaj attained an extraordinary state of love for him. Wait, I don't get the connection. 1 second. Even though the fact that they always hankered to see him. Okay. One should refer to Hari Bhakti Sudadoy for more details about this incident. At this point, one may argue against this conclusion by quoting Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.44. When Sri Sanak and other Kumaras met Śrī Bhagavan face to face, they first looked upward at his smiling lotus face, and then cast their vision down to see the splendor of his toenails. When they realized that, due to the limitations of their eyes and other senses, they could not perceive the charm and splendor of all of Śrī Bhagavan's limbs at one time, they closed their eyes and began meditating on his entire form. They meditated on all of his limbs at once, from his head to his lotus feet. This shows that after seeing Śrī Bhagavan directly with their eyes, the sages became absorbed in meditation. Is this not proof that meditation is more excellent than direct visual perception? This argument is countered by Śrīla Bhagavan's personal associates in the next verse, beginning with Krishnasya. Krishnasya shaksharapi jayate yad keshanchir akṣi-dṛśyaḥ milanadi dhyanam nat tat kintu mudram bharena kampadi vat prema vikara esha. If someone's eyes close due to being overwhelmed by joy after directly seeing Krishna, and his other senses become stunned or inactive, it should not be assumed that he is meditating. Rather, this behavior should simply be recognized as identical to the extraordinary transformations of prema. These transformations include trembling, crying, and horripilation, and are known as the ashtasattvic bhavs, or the 8 ecstatic symptoms of love of God. Considering these statements, the unquestionable conclusion is that the profound happiness of seeing Śrī Bhagavan directly or perceiving him directly with one's other senses is far greater than the happiness of perceiving him with one's mind through the process of meditation. At the beginning of this stanza, Sri Satyavrat Muni addresses the Lord with various names, beginning with the name Deva. Now, the sage's inner intention for using these addresses is revealed. Deva. O you whose form is divine, O most beautiful Lord. The sage addresses Śrī Bhagavan in this way with a desire to see him directly. Damodar. O Bhagavan, you are known by the name Damodar because of your exceptional quality of bhakta-vatsala, deep affection for your devotees. Because of this special quality, you agreed to be bound around your waist by your mother, and by this same quality, you appear before the eyes of your devotees and let them meet you face to face. Sri Satyavrat Muni therefore considers, because of this bhakta-vatsala, I too will be able to directly see him with my own eyes. Ananta. O unlimited, endless Lord, or, O Lord, there is no end or limit to your mercy. The sage addresses Sri Bhagavan with this name because he desires to attain his Lord's favor in the form of his merciful glance. Prabhu, O Lord, your inconceivable potencies are unlimited, astonishing, and immensely powerful. By addressing the Lord thus, the sage implies, O Lord, by the influence of your inconceivable potency, you can become visible to my eyes, even though you are beyond the grasp of the senses. Isha, O supremely independent controller. By this, the sage implies, you are the absolutely independent controller, so you never rely on anyone or anything to exhibit mercy, even to such an unqualified person as me. Viṣṇu, O all-pervasive one, or, O you who are always inclined to enter the secluded caves and groves of Vraj and Vrindavan. Here the sage implies, you are omnipresent, so you do not have to undergo the difficulty of traveling a long distance to appear directly before my eyes. You're everywhere. It's so easy for you. Just do it. Next, Srila Sanatana Goswami reveals another meaning implied by these names. The sage says, although you are Ananta, boundless, and Viṣṇu, all-pervading, you are also Damodar. You willingly allow your devotee to bind you around your waist. The meaning is, out of extreme affection for your devotees, there is nothing you will not do. Thus the sage has indicated that this special meaning is present when the name Ananta, Viṣṇu, and Damodar are considered together. The meanings of the remaining names are the same as before. Thus ends the English rendition of the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā on the 6th verse. In the 4th verse, Sri Satyavrata Muni refused to accept the results of performing this is Dig-darśinī-vṛtti by my Srila Gurudev. So in the 4th verse, Sri Satyavrata Muni refused to accept the results of performing Vaidhi Bhakti. But in this verse, he expresses that he desires to attain the results of Raganuga Bhakti, Vraja Prem. He desires nothing else. Those in the line of Sriman Mahaprabhu, and especially those who aspire for the type of prem conceived by Srila Rupa Goswami, Rupanuga Bhaktas, must have the same kind of determination. This determination of the bhakta is exactly like that of the Chataka bird. The only water the Chatak bird accepts is the rainwater that falls when the Swati Nakshatra constellation is prominent in the night sky. The Chataka bird thinks, I do not care if I die of thirst. I do not even care if I am struck by a thunderbolt. I will only drink the water falling from the Swati Nakshatra. The devotee should think, I only want deep love for Sri Radha Krishna. I do not want anything else. I especially yearn to become the maidservant of Sri Radha. May I serve her under the guidance of her intimate friends, her Pransakis and Priyanarma Sakis. And may I serve her beloved Sri Krishna under her direction. I only want this. I do not want any other benediction. There's a footnote here for Pransakis and Priyanarma Sakis. Sri Radha's Pransakis are her manjaris, whom she considers more dear to her than her own life. And her Priyanarma Sakis, like Lalita and Vishaka, are her most affectionate friends, who are always dedicated to pleasing her. Oh my God, it's not putting... Oh God, sorry. As streaks of kajal, black cosmetic ointment, ran down his face along with his tears, Krishna breathed heavily out of fear of his mother. On that day, Sri Yashoda bound Sri Krishna by her motherly affection. The Lord of all lords, the possessor of all potencies. Am I in the right chapter? Just making sure. Yes, I am. The possessor of all potencies, he who makes the whole universe tremble by the slightest movement of his eyebrows, on that day trembled out of fear of his mother. He cried, "Maya, don't hit me!" This is the nature of the immaculate and sweet Vatsalya Prem of Vraj. In his meditation, Śrī Satyavrat Muni saw how Mother Yashoda was kissing Krishna's cheeks, how his earrings were doing the same, and especially how the gopis were kissing Krishna so sweetly. He yearns to see this little Gopal directly. Astonishingly, even after such a sweet vision, his hankering has still not been satiated. Therefore, he will eventually express even a higher desire than what he expresses in this stanza. He wonders, how can I attain love for Sri Krishna and consequently darshan of Mother Yashoda's darling son with my eyes? It is well known that loving service to Sri Krishna is only attained by chanting his holy names. Therefore, in this stanza, Śrī Satyavrat Muni performs Nam Sankirtan. In the previous verse, Śrī Satyavrat Muni prayed, "May your lotus face and your form as little Gopal, the same form in which you shed streams of tears in fear of your mother, forever appear in my heart. I especially long to see your face in my heart perpetually, as it is being kissed again and again by your mother or by Sri Radha. May that Sri Krishna who holds a flute to his lips and attracts the entire world, and even himself, forever appear in my heart." Upon seeing his form, all moving beings become stunned and motionless, and all non-moving things give up their nature and begin to move. In this stanza, however, Śrī Satyavrat Muni wishes to directly behold Sri Krishna's beautiful form with his own eyes. He realized that Sri Krishna will not appear before him unless he performs Nam Sankirtan. So now he prays through the medium of Nam Sankirtan Now he prays through the medium of Nam Sankirtan, beginning with Namo Deva Dāmodara. Śrī Satyavrat Muni had heard about the kirtan performed by the Rajagopis. When Sri Krishna disappeared from the rasa dance, the gopis were unable to bear separation from him, and they began to cry. The song they sang while weeping is famous by the name Gopi Geet and is found in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. With deep love, Śrīman Mahaprabhu used to relish the song, especially during the period of his life when he remained in the Gambhira. The following verse is from Gopi Geet. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavi viriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatatam Ovigrnantiye Puridajana. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:31-9. O Krishna, we are always suffering in this material world, but just hearing the immortal nectar of your words and narrations of your pastimes gives us life. These narrations, coming from the lips of your pure devotees, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow the ultimate benediction, Krishna Prem, upon whoever hears them with faith. Your pure devotees broadcast these narrations, which are full of spiritual beauty and opulence all over the world. There is certainly no one more kind and compassionate than those souls who distribute this nectar. But the gopis were being tortured by the pain of separation from Krishna. They were actually saying, these descriptions of your pastimes are not nectar, amrita, but they are deadly poison, mrita. If anyone hears them, their life becomes one of suffering. Poets have sung the glories of narrations about you in vain. At first, the narrations seem to be full of charm and sweetness, but instead of bringing joy to someone's life, they plague him with sorrow. In fact, the people who recite your pastimes are ruining everyone's lives. In this verse, the word Burida, most munificent, indicates that those who broadcast narrations about Sri Krishna all over the world are the greatest of all generous people. However, in divine madness, divyonmad, brought about by the severe pain of being separated from Krishna, the gopis spoke about him sarcastically. Just see how these people are blazoning the activities of that black boy. They carry a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and roam from street to street exclaiming, "We do not want any money. We just want you to listen to us." For no charge, they cast the net of Krishna's pastimes over the living entities. Those people, now captured, are left to writhe in agony, weeping and wailing. Eventually, they leave their homes, wealth, possessions, relatives, and families. Like beggars or like birds, they live without any permanent residence and maintain themselves with whatever meager eatables are given to them. By others, and they sleep wherever they can find a place to lie down. They spend their days and nights in this way, constantly tortured by the pain of being separated from Krishna. "My dear friend," one gopi said, "those who recite Srimad Bhagavatam are actually not to blame.
It's 8 o'clock.
The sweetness of Sri Krishna's lotus face, beautiful form, flute, qualities, and pastimes are responsible for these calamities. Even just hearing about his sweetness, one will enter this miserable condition." Another gopi exclaimed, "O Saki, what to speak of others in this condition? Just look at you. There are no hunters more merciless than those who narrate the pastimes of Sri Krishna. Persons who hear their narrations weep, and then they make their families weep by abandoning them." Yet another gopi protested, "Actually, Sri Krishna himself is the greatest of all those who spread this propaganda. He is the one who made us run away from our homes to meet him when he played on his flute. He drove us mad with love. He turned us all into beggars, and then he left us. Who is more ungrateful than he?" When Sri Krishna heard them say all this, he burst into their midst, crying, "Oh, no, I am not ungrateful. You are my beloveds, and I am yours. I only left all of you to make your remembrance of me more intense. Do you know where I went? I did not actually leave you. I was right behind you, listening to your song of separation." Conversing in the indirect mode of communication, called paroksha-vad, Sri Krishna and the gopis relished their prema for each other. In this, there's a footnote here for paroksha-vad. In the same way that Sri Bhagavan does not reveal himself to unqualified people, the Vedas express confidential knowledge in an indirect or concealed manner because it is not meant to be openly distributed. This indirect form of communication is called paroksha-vad. Whoa, I fell asleep. I keep on falling asleep now. I need to stand. From this example, it is clear that paroksha-vad, which is common throughout the Vedas, is also employed in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. If anyone tries to adopt the moods of the gopis and, hoping to achieve Sri Krishna's mercy, performs Nam Sankirtan with great humility, Krishna will not be able to restrain himself. He will surely appear before that person. Remaining conscious of one's relationship with Sri Krishna and free from all anarthas, the sadhak should perform Sankirtan of the holy names that are bestowed upon him by Sri Guru. All of Sri Krishna's pastimes with their inherent sweetness, as well as one's relationship with Sri Krishna in that particular pastime, are associated with his corresponding holy names. I'll just reread that. All of Sri Krishna's pastimes with their inherent sweetness, as well as one's relationship with Sri Krishna in that particular pastime, are associated with his corresponding holy names. By the mercy of Krishna's holy names, the corresponding pastime will begin to manifest in one's heart. It is for this reason that Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari, who is absorbed in relishing Mahabhav, Srimati Radhika's highest mood, propagated the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the groves of Vrindavan, Sri Radhika steals away Sri Krishna's mind. The word harana means to steal, and hara is the feminine form of one who steals. According to Sanskrit grammar, when hara is uttered as a personal address to someone, it becomes hare. The root krish means to attract, and na means bliss. Therefore, he who gives bliss to everyone with the sweetness of his beautiful form, qualities, flutes, and pastimes is known by the name Krishna. The Rama in this mantra is not Sri Ram, the son of Dashrath. He who enjoys Raman with Sri Radha is known as Radha Raman. The name Radha in this mantra is an abbreviated form of the name Radha Raman. Sri Krishna plays on his flute and attracts, akarshan, the minds of the gopis to him. He is therefore called Krishna. This mantra embodies so many sweet moods. There is no transcendental emotion or pastime of Krishna that is not included within this Mahamantra, but they will only dawn in one's heart by the mercy of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas. Initially, by the mercy of these great personalities, one realizes the sweetness of the holy name. Oh, these holy names are sweeter than the sweetest. Nothing is sweeter. Thereafter, the possessor of the name, Nami, personally awakens one with... Thereafter, the possessor of the name, Nami, personally awakens within one's heart and enables one to enter into his pastimes. What should the sadhak do if he is not achieving perfection in bhakti? Regarding himself to be very fallen and destitute, he should piteously perform kirtan of the Mahamantra. For this reason it is said, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranita. It's from the Brihanaradiya Purana, Adi 17-21. The name of Hari is the only way. In this age of Kali, there is no other way. There is no other way. There is absolutely no other way to achieve the ultimate destination. This Mahamantra is the infallible remedy for all the ill effects of Kali Yuga. By chanting this mantra, all of one's desires are fulfilled without fail. What to speak of achieving something in this mundane world? What to speak of, what happened? Okay. What to speak of achieving something in this mundane realm? By this mantra, one cannot help but achieve the highest spiritual attainment. Such is the glory of Nam Sankirtan. I am so sorry, guys. As already mentioned, when Sri Krishna disappeared at the time of the Rasa dance, the gopis sang Gopi Geets with the desire to see him directly. When Sri Krishna heard their song, he could not check himself, and finally he appeared before them. With this in mind, Sri Satyavrat Muni also prays to directly behold Sri Krishna through Nam Sankirtan. O Deva, O you whose form is divine and astonishing, O bhakta-vatsala Dāmodara, you who are bound by the ropes of your mother's love, O Ananta, you who have unlimited potencies, O Viṣṇu, you who pervade everything and reside as the witness in the hearts of all beings, O Prabhu, you who possess infinite, inconceivable potencies, O Isha, my master, you are supremely independent. It is always advised that one should offer respects to one's worshipful Lord before beginning a prayer or before beginning any other activity. Therefore, Śrī Satyavrat Muni first offers his respects to his Ishtadev with the words Namo Deva. Deva means he whose form is divine. What is that form like? Kasturi tilakam nalatapatale vakshastale koshtubam nasagre varamoktikam karatale venukare kankanam sarvange harichandanam sulalitam kante chamuktavali gopastri pariveshtita vijayate gopala chudamani. Shri Gopal Sahasra Nama Stotram, verse 28. His forehead is decorated with musk tilak. The kostuba jewel rests upon his broad chest, and an exquisite pearl hangs from the tip of his nose. The flute gracefully rests in his lotus hands, and bracelets adorn his wrists. His entire form is anointed with chandan, and a necklace of pearls graces his attractive neck. All glories to the crest jewel of the Gopas, who is surrounded by all the young Vraja Gopis. This form of Shri Krishna surrounded by the young ladies of Vraj is most beautiful and enchanting. Mother Yashoda has bound Deva, Shri Krishna. She wrapped a rope around his waist, brought it behind his back, and tied it to the grinding water. Deva can also mean he who is playing. In other words, in this pastime, Shri Krishna is playing in a form of a child. Śrī Satyavrat Muni therefore says, I want to see the divine beauty of this Gopal who has appeared as a little child directly before my own eyes. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains several meanings of Damodara in his commentary. One way to understand this name is in relation to Mother Yashoda. Shri Krishna wanted to relish Shri Yashoda's motherly affection, so he submitted to being bound by the rope of her love. He thus became known as Yashoda Damodar, he whose waist is bound by Shri Yashoda. Another way to understand this name is in relation to Shri Radha. When Shri Krishna eventually reappeared after leaving the rasa dance, he somehow pacified Shri Radha's anger. One time this happened at Sevakunj, and another time at Mansarovar. Just before they started the rasa dance again, Shri Lalita and Vishaka tied Shri Krishna's yellow pitambar to Shri Radha's veil, binding them and making it impossible for him to escape. Another time, when Shri Krishna was on his way to meet with Shri Radha, Padma somehow brought him to Gaurikund and untied him with Chandravali. United them, untied them, and he united him with Chandravali. Meanwhile, Shri Radha's maidservants, headed by Shri Rupa Manjari, noted that Shri Radha was becoming increasingly anxious to meet with Shri Krishna. They began to search for him and finally found him at Gaurikund. "O Agari, slayer of the giant snake demon," they exclaimed. "O Agari, slayer of the giant snake demon. A demon has entered Vraj and is destroying everything." The demon was actually Shri Radha's separation from Shri Krishna. As soon as Shri Krishna heard this, he spoke to Chandravali, comforting her. "My dear one, I will return immediately after killing the demon. Just wait for me." In this way, the Manjaris cleverly took Shri Krishna from Chandravali's grove and united him with Shri Radha. Therefore, the Manjaris tied the ends of Radha and Krishna's cloth in a knot. On yet another occasion, Shri Radha's friends tied the ends of her and Shri Krishna's cloth in a knot. To this day, the place where that pastime occurred is called Gantoli. It is because of all these pastimes that Shri Krishna became known as It is because of all these pastimes that Shri Krishna became known as Radha Damodar. That's really good to know. Generally, Viṣṇu means the all-pervading being. Thus, it is understood that the sage is saying, "There is no place where you are not situated, and no heart in which you do not dwell. You are everywhere. However, in his commentary, Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad has revealed another meaning of Viṣṇu. Shri Krishna eternally performs his confidential pastimes in all the secluded caves and groves of Giriraj Govardhan. Although even the demigods are unable to see Shri Krishna's pastimes in those kunjas, Shri Satyavrat Muni addresses the Lord as Viṣṇu with the hope that he may see Shri Krishna directly. In your pastimes, you reside in every grove and every cave throughout this Vrindavan. Therefore, you do not have to undergo any pain by traveling a long distance to appear before my eyes. The name Viṣṇu is used in a similar way in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-39. Vikreditam rajavadu piridam cha Viṣṇu. In this verse, Viṣṇu refers to that Krishna who, with the desire to relish the gopis' love for him, sounded his flute and lured all the gopis from their homes. By pervading their hearts, he entirely won their love. Similarly, in Sri Satyavrat Muni's prayer, Viṣṇu refers solely to Vrajendra Nandan Shri Krishna. Sri Satyavrat Muni says, duḥkha-jālābdhi-magnam. Now I am oppressed by the miseries of the material existence for an incalculable life. I am oppressed by the miseries of material existence for an incalculable period of time. I have been trapped in this vicious cycle of birth and death, and consequently, I mistake this body to be my actual self. I am wretched and utterly foolish. I am drowning in the fathomless ocean of material existence, and I am unable to rescue myself. Furthermore, the sage says, I am suffering because I am not being supported by the mercy of saints, and I do not have any strength to perform sadhana. In this regard, Srimad Mahaprabhu asked Shri Ramananda, dukkha madhe kona dukkha hoy gurutar? Of all sorrows, what is the most severe? And Shri Ramananda replied, Krishna bhakta viraha vina dukkha nahi deki par. Other than the pain of being separated from Shri Krishna's devotees, I see no actual sorrow. The sorrow of being separated from Shri Krishna's devotees is in fact the greatest agony. Therefore, from Sri Satyavrat Muni's words, duḥkha-jālābdhi-magnam, I am drowning in an ocean of misery, we can understand that he prays to attain sadhu sangha, the company of saintly personalities. One can only attain Sri Bhagavan's mercy by the causeless compassion of saints. Sri Nanda Maharaj tells Gargacharya, Mahar vichalanam nrinam grihinam dina chetasam nishreya saya bhagavan kalpate nanyata kvachit. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:8-4. Saintly personalities like you wander about visiting the homes of ordinary people and wretched and destitute householders like us. O exalted devotee, you never have any other reason to do this except bestow mercy upon us. One should note that it is because Nanda Maharaj was acting like an ordinary human being that he addressed Gargacharya in this way. In reality, there is a vast gulf of difference between Nanda Baba and Gargacharya. This kind of behavior is exhibited by Sri Bhagavan's associates in the course of performing their human-like pastimes in order to show everyone that Sri Bhagavan can only be achieved by the immense mercy of the sadhaks. When even Sri Krishna's eternal associate, his mother, had to undergo so much endeavor to bind him, then on what grounds can the conditioned souls complain about the troubles they encounter in trying to achieve him? There is no need to make a pompous display of devotion. We should simply act according to the method of sadhana taught to us by Guru and Vaishnavas, and in this way we perform bhajan following in the footsteps of our 6 Goswamis. Radha kunda tate kalindita naya tire chavangshi vate prenmon maravashara shesha dashaya grasta pramato sada kayanto chakada harer gunavaram bhava vibhuto gunavaram bhava vibhut Gayanto chakara harer gunavaram Bhavakti-bhuto muda Vande rupa sanatano raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. That's the 7th verse of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. I worship Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Intoxicated with love and gripped by the countless ecstasies arising from separation, they always used to roam the banks of Radhakund and the Yamuna, or the forest near Vangshivat. They remained overwhelmed with spiritual ecstasies while incessantly enraptured by singing about Sri Hari's most excellent qualities. The words Ashesha Dashaya in the above verse describe the 6 Goswamis as being gripped by the countless ecstasies arising from separation. In other words, their bodies would erupt with horripilation, trembling, and other ecstasies. They would even reach the stage in which one verges on death due to the intense pain of separation and begin to faint. How exalted is the bhajan of these great personalities! In comparison, where is our sadhan bhajan? Not one single tear comes to our eyes, what to speak of us fainting. Therefore, we must strive to perform bhajan and sadhu sangha in such a way that we are constantly immersed in serving our worshipful Lord. The Goswamis, acting as Raganuga sadhaks, were suffering because they could not see Sri Bhagavan and his associates. He Radhe Vrajadevi ke chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govar. The 6 Goswamis would cry out, O Radha, O goddess of Vrindavan, O Lalita Devi, O son of Nanda, where are you? Far beyond the pain of separation experienced in the stage of sadhan is the indescribable pain of separation experienced by Sri Bhagavan's ragatmika jans, those whose hearts are imbued with rag. Those whose hearts are imbued with rag in the stage of prem. In Gopi Gita and Brahmar Gita, within the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadev has illustrated such separation by indirect hints. In the same way, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written in his written work has merely alluded to the condition of someone separated from Sri Krishna. Even Bhav Bhakti is extraordinary, for even after performing millions and millions of artist spiritual practices, one cannot achieve it. For example, Sri Uddhav went to Nandagram, where he closely associated with Ragatmika Jan of all 5 rasas. However, he could only get the association of Srimati Radhika, the most exalted of all those associates, from a distance. However, he was able to achieve the company of her friends, who are her kaya vyuha, or bodily manifestations. He had so much good fortune, did he ever succeed in becoming a single plant in Braj, or a creeper, or even a piece of straw? In the end, he could only praise the gopis. Vande Nanda Vrajasvinam Strinam Padarenam Abhikshnasa Yasyam Harikator Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-63. I bow down to the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis who reside in Nanda Baba's Vraj. Oh, whatever these gopis have sung about Krishna's pastimes, always has and always will purify the entire world. Why is it that we feel cheated of this ras and cheated of these exalted moods even after we have obtained sadhusanga? The reason is that we do not really want to taste what the saints long for us to relish. Otherwise, why do we not become full of anxiety when we are separated from them? Why do we not perform bhajan with great eagerness? When Sri Krishna concluded his pastimes in this world, a desire to attain Vraj Bhav awoke in Sri Uddhav's heart. This desire came by the mercy of the Vrajvasis and especially by the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Because Uddhav desperately wanted to become a particle of dust at Sri Radha's lotus feet, It is presumed that he is performing bhajan at Uddhav Kund in Govardhan to this day. However, we do not know if he was able to become even a particle of dust in Vraj Dham. Shri Tulsidasa said, "Abba pachatai hota kya jab chiriya chug ge kheta." What is the use of lamenting now? It is because of your own carelessness that birds have eaten your crops. In other words, by Sri Bhagavan's grace, you have taken a rare birth in the human species. If you waste it simply eating and sleeping like an animal, then you will have to remain wandering in the material world. Taking birth in one, God. So I'm having a really hard time, guys, I'm sorry. You'll take birth in one of the 84 million species of life. Therefore, you should realize how trivial it is to simply exist like an animal, and you should stay determined to permanently be in sadhu sangha. Yes, if we waste our birth simply eating and sleeping like an animal, then we'll just remain here in this material world, suffering. Therefore, we should strive to always be in sadhu sangha. But our situation is so sad that even though we have attained the great fortune of associating with saints, our hearts remain unaffected. This is because we do not have full faith in Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, and as a result, we remain deprived of the grace of Sri Guru and Sri Bhagavan. Sri Satyavrat Muni prays, "Prasīda Prabhu, O you who possess all inconceivable potencies, O Master, please be kind to me. Deliver me from my pitiable mundane existence, and grant me the association of your devotees. I have no hope but you." We must also pray like this. O Prabhu, cast your compassionate glance upon us. When we chant your names, no tears come to our eyes, and our bodies do not tremble. We are unable to perform sadhana. We are only sustaining our ambition of attaining Vraj Prem, and especially Gopi Bhav, that prem which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, on the hope that we will receive your merciful glance. It is only by the strength of that glance that we have any chance of attaining our goal. Even if we continue performing sadhan bhajan as we are doing now for millions and millions of lifetimes, it will be in vain. It will still be completely impossible for us to attain Vraj Prem, especially Gopi Bhav, the topmost love of Vraj. O Master, have mercy on us. With great anguish we should cry, "Let me attain just a drop of Gopi Bhav." How can such a drop be obtained? It is obtained by the mercy of sadhus who are absorbed in the mood of Vraj. Thus, Sri Satyavrat Muni says, "O Prabhu, kindly grant me the association of pure-hearted saints. In their association, all of my cherished desires will be fulfilled." Sri Satyavrat Muni addresses Sri Bhagavan as Isha, "You who are supremely independent," in order to petition him. "You are the master and controller of all, so I need not seek the mercy of others to achieve your grace." And there's a footnote here. I don't need to seek the mercy of others to achieve your grace. Footnote. It is generally seen that one obtains Krishna Prem by the mercy of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, bhakta-vatsala ja kṛpā, although occasionally one receives the indirect mercy of the Lord, Krishna prasāda ja kṛpā. O Lord, be kind to me. You do not depend on anyone or anything. If the sadhak is completely surrendered, then you do not even have to pay attention to the formalities of his sadhana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the best example of how the Lord distributes his causeless mercy while completely ignoring all considerations of qualification. If someone merely saw him, even from a distance, prem would spontaneously manifest in their heart. Sriman Mahaprabhu did not consider anyone's qualifications or frailties. Without even considering the quality of anyone's spiritual practices, he distributed prem to everyone. A brilliant example of this is found in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. On his way to Vrindavan, Śrīman Mahaprabhu journeyed through the Jharikanda forest. As he passed through the forest, he caused prema to awaken in the hearts of all the wild animals, birds, worms, insects, trees, and plants and creepers. All the creatures of the jungle were instantly granted prema. Alas, will the world ever see anyone else so merciful? Therefore, have mercy on me and grant me direct darshan of you. Sri Satyavrat Muni entreats Sri Bhagavan. It is not enough for me to have but a momentary vision within my heart of little Gopal crying out in fear of his mother as she binds him to the grinding mortar. O Master, I pray to see that form directly with my own eyes. I don't want to just see it within my heart, I want to see it directly with my own eyes. In verse 4, Srila Sanatana Goswami quoted Sri Pipalayan Rishi's explanation of Ananta darshan found within Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. One first sees Sri Bhagavan within one's mind, and then with one's eyes. Brahmaji beheld Sri Krishna within his mind, and received a benediction from him, which fructified as the ability to create the material universe. However, in reply to Pipalayan Rishi's reasoning, Sri Gopakumar said, "Your thoughts are excellent, but my desire is to see Sri Madan Gopal directly with my eyes." Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states, first, Sri Bhagavan is seen within the soul, and then that vision reflects in the mind. The form of the deity is the externally manifest reflection of the moods that Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas experience at such times. Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas mercifully plant the tendency to perform service to Sri Krishna in a person's heart as a seed. That seed gradually matures through the stages of Shraddha, Nishta, Asakti, and on, until it finally reaches its destination. But the seed can only develop like this if the sadhak carefully proceeds in sadhu sangha without interruption. Padmanabha Swami would have used this as evidence. Even if Sri Bhagavan personally appears to a devotee who is in the advanced stages of prema, he will think that he is seeing his worshipful Lord within his heart, due to being overwhelmed with bhav. For example, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Sri Navadvip Dham, he had personally come to eat the foodstuffs his mother cooked for him, but she always considered her visions of him to be hallucinations. Similarly, after Sri Krishna left Vrindavan, he personally appeared before the gopis again and again, but they also dismissed those meetings as mere visions. A devotee who progresses through the stages of bhakti by performing Nam Sankirtan finally attains prema. Leaving this world behind, he enters the divine realm where he sees Sri Bhagavan directly. This darshan eradicates the slightest scent of any remaining anarthas and gives him entrance into Bhagavan's eternal pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Thus ends the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the 6th verse. Alright, let's see if there's anybody. Oh my god, so many people stayed. I was thinking I was going to be losing people because I kept falling asleep. Anyways, thank you so much for being extra tolerant of me today. Anyways, tonight I'm going to need to go to sleep a lot earlier. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Usually when I start falling asleep, I stand up, and I move my computer up onto a different shelf, but I have a bunch of books on it and I didn't want to move them, so that's why he had to tolerate my falling asleep and really choppy reading. Anyhow, I'm just grateful you all stayed. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Vihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govina Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashatashmad Śrīla Bhakti-Vigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashatashmad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Bhakti Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Śrī Dāmodara Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshada Vrinda Ki Jai, Namo Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Bhadata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Kartik Vrat Ki Jai, Urja Vrat Ki Jai, Urjeshwari Shri Vishwabhanu Nandini, Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai, Shri Vrajmanda Parikrama Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyai Keshavashaja, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa-sindubhya vaja, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Alright, so I promise tonight I'll go to sleep early so that I will be awake and I won't do that again. I won't read like that again. I'll be more alert and awake. But yeah, alright, thank you. Hari Bol. Jai Shri Radhe.